Hello, welcome to Sunday morning / evening coffee. I got there fast enough, I think. Let me just move that away from the fridge. There we go. There we go. Nothing to see there. Right. It was me just being late. We had a guest. We've had two guests. It's been all the socialising this weekend, so I'm actually a bit tired of socialising. So this will be on my last. Luckily, this will be my last social of the day. Oh, hang on, I've gone on my phone here. There we go. Socialing was all good, but it's like you run out of social battery. Well, I've got notes here for what I'm going to talk about, so there we go. Thanks for turning up. Good chunk of people, even though it's evening. I do feel bad that I've been moving it, moving the show around. But then I remind myself that I need two friends. Seeing another friend tomorrow. I started it in lockdown when nothing was happening, this live show. And now a bit more happens. In the summer, more happens. So I'm just sort of adapting it around. I hope it's not. I know it's not great for maintaining audience because you're moving it about. But it's kind of that or not, I think. So morning. Where do I start? I've got loads of notes. I've got things to show. Maybe even some sculpts to show if you're good. Oh, that one wobbly. Where do we begin? What has happened this week? So the week started off a bit weird. So I took Monday and Tuesday off. It was very hot. So partly hot, partly because I'm still like, Annie, you can have. So Annie, you can have some time off because of Expo and just because I hadn't really had a break and I don't want to burn out. And I've been feeling the wibble a little bit. So because I've recently massively got into gardening, I took Monday and Tuesday off just to garden. Turned out they were really knackering days because I had massive projects. Rather than just a bit of light gardening, I made a whole guinea pig memorial garden and got really exhausted. So it was a good time off mentally, but not physically. So yesterday, I had my first day off in a long time where I had nothing planned, and it was the best. I was so chilled. Don't worry, I will talk about bad Squiddo stuff. But, so Monday... Monday, it was Monday. I went to the B&Q with Fenris Games because he'd stayed over from Sunday. What happened Sunday? More gardening. So he stayed over so we could do more gardening on Monday because he also wanted some time off. And we went nice and early to B&Q. Well, let's get in before the rush, before the heat. B&Q. God, what did I buy there? More soil. It takes so much soil. The soil in my garden is like this deep, so everything has to be raised. So I went and bought a bit of soil, a few more plants, I think. Was getting back to mine, and then his car broke down. Hey, there he is! All the soil. So his car broke down fairly near Games Workshop, and so it meant that I did get a message from one person that said, "Oh, I just drove past you," because it was a rush hour as well, so it was quite dangerous because we had to push the car over to the side. So the car broke down, then lots of peril, and in the end, Ian had to get towed back to Lincoln. So that did kill the gentle gardening vibes. But I did then go and build that guinea pig garden that day, just before the thunderstorm as well. I was digging super fast to get that all done. Oh yeah, that's why the stream was early and quick. I was trying to remember the stream last week. Yeah, it was early and quick, wasn't it? Because I wanted to get to the garden centre, which we did. There was much garden goodness. But yeah, then Ian's car did die. He's got it back. If you haven't seen on Twitter, he's got it back. And it's got it to the garage, and it is absolutely beeped. It's absolutely done for. So he's got to get it crushed into a cube. Although apparently that's not what happens. It's been sold for a very small amount of scrap value. I'd much rather it be crushed into a cube just so you could keep it. I don't know how small they get when you crush them. But Ian lives in the middle of nowhere, and he has a dog that is part husky and needs massive walks in different simulating places. So he's in a bit of a pickle. So I did do a little shout out as well. I was quite impressed with the feedback from that. But basically, if you've got any coin spare, Ian Fenris Games has got a Ko-fi account where you can just chuck $5 or whatever. And also, if you're thinking of buying from Fenris, now's a good time because he needs to get the funds to buy a new car because it's a priority being in the middle of nowhere. He also has, as this is my shout out, he also has 2 elderly parents that are relying on him as well. So it is important. And he is skint, and I know he minds me saying that he is skint. James Pavlovian condition to want a coffee when I see you've gone live. Excellent. I actually just have a Ribena, but in a fancy vocation brewery glass. So. So if you haven't before, go check out Fenris Games. They do some really cool stuff. And it will help Ian because it broke my heart that his car had to go and die after all that. He's had a whole bunch of mishaps for some time as he's watching going, yep, 1 or 2 mishaps. So we could do with a bit of universe goodness. So yeah, if you can help, you should go do that. Hello, a bunch of people. We've got a good turnout. I was worried again because like, oh, will people remember that I'm here? But you have, so hello. So I'll cross off. Did I put Ian Carr on there? I did. Ian Carr. I've also written bye from Fenris. Yes, you should do that. So that was the start of the week. Although then, oh yeah, we managed to get the tow man to tow us to mine so we could unload the soil. It wasn't the soil that broke it, probably. That's what they said. So this week after that, I've been working. I've been very grumpy this week, and I think it's just the heat. You know, the heat makes everything worse. I've been going, but I've been getting through. I've been absolutely beasting the Kickstarter, which is partly a result of the grump because I was like, need to distract self. So I do actually really like packing orders because you're just it's just that all your brain can do is I need this needs to go here. I need this needs to go here. Like, no brain activity. So done all that. So I packed pretty much all the Kickstarters that I could in 2 days, which is mad. I think it was about 120. So they're gone. They're out. So if you haven't got it now, it just means one I packed late on Friday, which will be out Monday, so Tuesday. And obviously if you're overseas, a little bit more. So did loads of Kickstarters. The only reason, so I've got these bats, right? And the bats were weirdly expensive. They weren't expensive, but if I'd got them in the plastic confetti, it'd have been like £1. But because they were, I think someone had just punched them all out in paper. It was a lot, and because they're so small, you expect, because I ordered like thousands of bats, and I thought they'd be loads, but the volume of them's like this, so I've got to be really careful of each one. I'm like Salt Baying them into each order. I think I decided that most people can't have more than 7 bats or something. Averagely. I've been like putting the bats in. So I'm really glad, because when I was putting them in, I was like, I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if people will even notice them, but you all have. So I'm really, really happy with that. Because I put a lot of effort into the presentation of Kickstarters. I do into the orders in general, but I'm really glad when you notice, because like I said it a few times, that when I've backed Kickstarters, you have all the excitement of the Kickstarter, because it's like, yeah, let's get it done, let's do it. And then obviously there's that gap. And then one day you'll be minding your own business and a Jeffy bag appears through the door and you're like, what's that? And then you open it and there's just some like mini or 2 in a little grip seal. You like tip it out and it's a mini. You're like, oh yeah, that was that Kickstarter I backed, so I no longer have any enthusiasm for. That's been my personal experience with a lot of the times I've backed stuff. And the models have been great and everything, but it's almost like it doesn't match that initial excitement. So I like it to be that like, okay, I think I've kind of forgotten about, what's this? Oh, it's that Kickstarter. And then there's almost like your own little unboxing experience where you get the nice little card, I've themed it. So unless you've ordered absolutely loads or huge things, you've got the black boxes, like black box, nice deep red coffin lining. So all these little things for the little bats, your card, the sticker, and it's just really nice. You're like, oh, this is lovely. I can't wait. And if it's things from the current line, then they've got that you've ordered as extras or just in there. They've got their own little printed picture off in there, and I just think it's a lot nicer. And as I run Bad Squiddo is how I want others to run to me, how I would like to receive things, basically. So I'm really glad that you've been noticing. And it's not just this Kickstarter, obviously, I always theme them. I think it was the Anna Begeisha that I started theming because I put all the like pink petals and stuff in. And I bought those bats ages ago. I bought them before it even launched because I was just like, I had it on the brain. I was like, I'll get some bats, find some bats. So I'm glad because they've been there sort of looking at me for a while. So that's ace. So loads of Kickstarters out. How do you know if your Kickstarter has gone? Well, you'll have an email that says shipped, which may be in spam. And have a little look. I've got a lot to get through. So it's got that packed. The ones that haven't shipped, if yours hasn't shipped, it is because it is needing the Mecha Napoleon, the Mummies, or the Necromancer and Co. Because they were the last 3 to arrive sculpts, so they're not ready yet. They're lagging behind. Because they were the last 3. When you have 3 miniatures, they're just there, and they have to pay for a mold for the free, which I don't want to do because it's not very efficient. But I have other things in the works from other sculptors, so it just delayed them a little bit because I was then waiting for some of those sculpts to come in so they can share a mold. So they've been held back a little bit because they were the last ones to get finished. But obviously, while we're waiting on them, everything else is ready. And I like doing as I get them because I've got them, so again, if you're used to this by now, I'm not someone who waits till I have every single thing and then ship it. So if I've got it, I will ship it out. So I've called it 2 waves because the rest will be in that other wave. So wave 1 is shipped. Wave 2 probably be 2 weeks, I think, by the time I've got the stock. I think I said, should be sure, maybe 3 weeks, because the casters will see it and go, what? So it's those 3 items, or if there's something that has run out from some other bits, because obviously there was Expo messing up the stock levels as well. So again, it's not held back. The shipping estimate was September. It is June, so we're doing very good. I normally do give myself a bit of breathing space, but even I am shooketh by the speed of this. It means we can do more. Oh god, I zoom in at this frizzball. Means we can do another Kickstarter soon. So this Kickstarter, boom. So yeah, if you're waiting, it'll be like 2 weeks till I get those last bits. And while I was packing, I ran out of Death and Lady Katharina. They were the 2 big ones. Luda the Ogre, which I didn't predict because when I did the order, I thought I had more than enough, but more people added them in. Yes, because when I did the order, I did it when I didn't have all of the pledge managers in. I kind of had the number and then added an arbitrary amount that I thought would cover it, but then it was like everyone wanted the Ogre ordered later or something, so it's all fine. It's all fine. So I'm really chuffed. So Andrea says, makes me hopefully for my special one. Yes, yours is held. Yours has got a note on it, so don't forget. It will arrive by September, easy, because as soon as this is out the way, although because I can't do anything till the stuff for phase 2, I can probably get a move on with the community miniatures. I'll go into that actually. I'll write it down here. But yeah, it's all happening. I'm very impressed, especially with the heat, which is it's just it is hot, and just that obviously affects my brain. I'm not wanting. I'm yawning. Not wanting to be in the office. I just want to go and live in the woods. That's pretty much. I just want to be a person of nature. Now I'm well into gardens. I've just been doing all the garden things. I absolutely love it. It makes me really happy, and it's something physical and outside, and this is ace. So yeah, the Kickstarter for My Last Sunrise is well on its way. Well chuffed. Loads are arriving. and the rest will be shipping in a couple of weeks. So just keep an eye out for any of that. So I crossed that off my thing. I've also addressed the hotness on my list. I've got hot. I've written Turkey Man. Turkey Man. When I first showed Turkey Man, so he was a purchase that I made at 4 in the morning when I was very ill and I couldn't sleep, and I went on Facebook and I saw Turkey Man for sale, and Phil Hines had sculpted him and said, I've made this thing, I don't know, Beastman construct Turkey Man. I did so in one of these secret sculpts for sale groups. At 4 o'clock, I did say, F yeah, I effing love Turkey Man. Mine, please, or something like that. But obviously, he was not awake at 4 a.m. So I had to wait till morning. And then morning had a message from Phil saying, Turkey Man is yours. And I was like, yeah, Turkey Man. And sent a picture of him to the caster who was in the same group and went, oh, I saw that and I feared you may. So, yep, Turkey Man is a go. And then I posted him around and he got loads of hype and everyone was like, oh, I need Turkey Man. And I was like, yeah, it's all about Turkey Man. And then I did the Kickstarter and he's an add-on. And then in the pledge manager, when I was adding up the numbers, I was like, oh, I've sold 5 Turkey Man. Great. Like, I know he's not someone I've put all my, love and care in, but I was like, oh, that's translated to like 5 Turkey Men. And like, oh, you can't even just order 5, you've got to order a minimum amount. So I was like, great, Turkey Man. I don't mind. Again, if it's something that I've put loads of time into researching and designing, he was just a whim. But then he's kind of turned into a meme because when I went on, so shiny I am as well. God. And then it's still really hot here. I don't know if it's having heat waves other than the UK at the moment, but as you can tell, there's a wave of heat. So he then became a meme. Oh yeah, Warp Fiend did a really lovely job on the paint man, on the Turkey Man as well. So I was like, oh, definitely, I love Turkey Man. So we turned into a bit of a meme because I posted like, fine, if you don't want Turkey Man. And then a whole other bunch of people were like, how did we not even see this guy? So I did get some more onto the pledge manager. And then various people I know have scoffed at Turkey Man. So when I was packing the Kickstarters, there's a few people that I thought, you deserve a Turkey Man. So I was putting just the occasional one, not loads, because he costs me a lot of money, because he's a big lump of metal. So I'd put a few people got Turkey Man and then a little sticker that said hello on it as well from Turkey Man. So you're like, oh, my Kickstarter's here. Oh, Turkey Man. So then I mentioned that on Twitter. And then I got another Turkey Man Sergeant. Someone bought free Turkey Man. I don't know what they're doing with it. And then Doc Cowie, I was like, is that? No, it's not a secret, because he tweeted about it. I won't say how many he purchased, but Doc Cowie purchased a large amount of Turkey Men from me to use that I can put in orders as I please. So I'm not going to put them all in immediately. And I need to make a little note that's like, you've been Turkey manned by Doc Cowie. With some information on it. So yeah, people are going to get some more random Turkey men. So thank you very much. It made my day because he was talking about it. It's like, he's not going to do it. And then I got the order boot through. I'm like, oh, he's done it. Oh Lord, so many Turkey men. So yeah, Turkey Man could arrive in your order. It will probably be, if you've got a social media presence, that sounds terrible. Basically, if you're a name that I recognise, that it doesn't have to be a GW style number of followers, but someone I know will post it online, even if you've got 10 people follow you, but I see you posting or whatever, then I'll be like, but doesn't mean you will get Turkey Man. And the people that ask for a Turkey Man will not a Turkey Man receiveth. Only people who don't ever want such a horrific creature. So I love Turkey Man, and I'm glad that he gave me a lot of laughs this week with everyone sort of discovering and making various Turkey Man memes, so it was funny. Oh no, Greg's not going to order till the Turkey Men have gone. Oh no. So Turkey Man covered. Kickstarter arriving. Dead Zone tournament. So Andy 2d6 in the comments there. A flock of turkey men. A gaggle. A horror. Andy ran his first tournament on Saturday, and I hear it was a blast. So Andy 2d6, who is there, is oh no, will he comment? He is my housemate, and he's upstairs. He's right there. I forgot what he's doing actually, but I know he's got this on. I think he's painting. So Andy ran his first tournament. It was a Dead Zone tournament at the Leadbelt Arena, and it was very, very well received. We're proud of him. He put a lot of effort into us. I think it was there's 16 people. So for a relatively small event, the amount of stuff you got and care and attention was very good. As a tournament pro veteran, I was very impressed. So if you are into Dead Zone and able to get to the Nottingham area, I'm sure you'll be doing some more events going on the success of this. So it was called Code Orange. So keep an eye. He's Andy 2d6 all over the place. I'm sure he'll be posting if he does anything. But now he has tournament fever. I think he will be running a few more. So that was ace. So let's scribble that out. Highly recommend. Oh God. So the reason we were later, a nightmare of Turkey Man. The reason we were later today, hey, there he is. Woo. Oh, can I tell your anecdote about I've forgotten what it is, the wrestler. If you say what the wrestler is in there, I'll tell the tale. I know that fever. No spreadsheet is safe. So the reason we were in the evening today. What's the wrestler? I need to know the name of the wrestler though. I don't know. I'm pointing that way. I think it's that way, isn't it? It was because we had our friend Josie staying over, who is on YouTube. She used to be on YouTube. She kind of disappeared. We did think she disappeared off the face of the earth for a while, but she's back. And it's Green Stuff Games on YouTube. So most of the stuff's quite old on there, but definitely have a look. No affiliation with Green Stuff World or Green Stuff. But yeah, she was over for the tournament. So we were hanging out and we made her play The Walking Dead this morning before she left. So it was Walking Dead over stream. So hey, yeah, I like it when the evening. It seems more people can actually catch it. I was also considering if it was Father's Day, maybe people were doing things in the morning as well. So I thought it was a good excuse to move it to the evening. So yeah, we had Josie over. We played Walking Dead, which was really fun. I didn't actually play. I was the referee. She hadn't played in ages, so I was mostly just commentating. And it was funny because I think Andy uses games as well, probably like most people, to like do what people do with dolls or something. We had a whole story about Laurie running off with someone else on one bit, and then Carl and Rick were in the other gang or something. And they did all talk and do that at the end. So yeah, that was really fun. In my social Annie Two Friends, we we went. So she left about 1 o'clock, and then we went to our friend Scott's at 2 o'clock, who used to live next door, but he's now moved away. So we went to see him, and he left about 5 to 8. So I was a bit late. So I've been like all the social, which I'm surprised that I'm still have some social energy left. Although it's one way. I think if you were talking back at me, I'd probably be dead by now. I don't have a huge social battery. And I'm meeting a third friend after work tomorrow. So madness. Annie free for check me out with all my friends. I'm terrible at postponing people. So I thought, well, I've got some sort of socialness going on. Yes, Peter is starting Dragon Rampant, including swarms of bad Squiddo gnomes. Yes. So I didn't go out. So after the tournament, they went out for a beer, which turned into several. Andy chugged the night away on 2 Coke Zeros, which was pretty wild. But they went into a place, and the doorman, because it was a Saturday night, the doorman went, "Whoa now, to Andy, Josie, and I think there might have been some other people with them, but Andy was the issue. So the place was smart casual. And I thought Andy was dressed smart casual, but apparently not smart casual enough. So they got the manager or something to make like an executive decision. And meanwhile, Josie stood there with like cut off trousers and toes poking out of her trainers. But because Andy was so orange, I think all of them were drawn to Andy like that, of whether they could let this man into their establishment. And it was only like arcade, what's it called? Air hockey type place. So it wasn't, a 5-star restaurant. And they were like this, unsure about whether to let Andy in. And they said, you can come in if you do a Ric Flair woo. I had no idea till today what a Ric Flair woo is. But I wish I had seen it, because of all the people, obviously Andy knows what a Ric Flair woo is. It's a wrestling thing. I'm sure some people will already be going, no way! So because Andy went, woo, and began doing the Ric Flair walk, they went, you can come into our establishment, which is amazing. And I think that should be a requirement for many, many establishments, that you should do some sort of weird classic wrestling reference to get in. Yeah, woo followed by a strut. So they were out on the town last night, whereas I was out in my hammock. And I've got solid 90s thing. Guinea Pig Garden. Yep, I built the Guinea Pig Memorial Garden. Basically, there's more bad Twitter news. There's even sneak peeks of skulls. That's why I put my personal life in between. So you got to stick it out. It's good to just like stick in my brain what I've actually done all week. Guinea Pig Garden. I'm very impressed with it. I made a raised bed. Loads of new plants in there. I've moved, so the guinea pigs are buried all over my garden, and it was getting quite full of graves. But I decided the gravestone doesn't need to be on the grave, but the bit where you would bury them at the back is too stony. So I've collected, they've all got their own little customised gravestones. So I built this little garden that I've called the Pig Memorial Garden in the corner. Loads of lovely plants. I've put all the little ornaments, and then I've put little solar lights. That looks so good. Oh, the lights will be coming on soon. I wrapped the light, so it's like the wire light, and I've wrapped it around the bamboo border. So good. It looks so good. So I'm just telling you, because I'm really impressed. It looks awesome. I'm well chuffed with my gardening. So one of the reasons Scott came back here, so we went to Scott's, and then he came back here so I could show him the garden. So anyone in a vague radius now, Amy, if you like, we've got to do some deal at some point, I'll make you come here so you can see my garden. Because look at my garden, everyone. But I don't know what half the plants are. I just bought them because they said hardy on them, and tough and tolerant. They're like, that one, that's a plant. So yeah, talking of flowers, I've got a new sculpt. It's a work in progress. Well, it just needs tidying up, basically, so don't take it at face value. So, following a conversation with Shane, so occasionally, sometimes a sculptor will make a random sculpt, and I'll go, oh, I'll take it. And what I was saying about the master molds, you can fit, a figure stood like that, you can fit about 16 at a stretch in there. And obviously, the more they're wide and stuff, it's less. So if you're doing a master mold for one figure is an absolute waste, because you still have to pay the same for the mold. So you want to kind of fill it. So occasionally, if I have a figure that I feel at some point needs to go somewhere else, then I'll get it mastered if mastering is happening. Basically, it's like throwing something in the wash. It's there. You might as well throw it in, and then that's done. Rather than just have a green, that if something happens to it. So I reminded the sculptor of this. It's a very terrible photo, remembering that metal photograph's terrible. But I've had this figure for ages. So I said she could do it with a friend, basically, because this figure oh God, vaguely see her there, right, with my big hands. So that figure, oh yeah, it worked when I zoomed in, or didn't zoom in. Um, so she's like a little, little culty lady with loads of flowers on her head. That's a metal cast. But I felt like by herself, she was kind of just a bit, because she's quite small. It's the obviously again, I'm not a fan of single models, so it's kind of like her by herself in a production mold. I don't know if I could sort of justify her. So she's kind of just been sat about. So I've kind of said for a while, she needs a friend. So I messaged the sculptor and went, if you're bored, you could make her a friend. Like, so she's the apprentice of someone much grander, and he's already sculpted her, and it's absolutely stunning. So then there's a little pack. It's like her and her Padawan. I can only comment. So remember that the sickle, because when you do the work with it, you do it, you sculpt it, and then once it's hard, then you get the knife round and really do so the sickle's not complete basically, but the rest of it is. So this is a sneak peek of her mistress. How cool is that? Just as a random fitted in. Oh, there's an inception going on there. To fit in with the fantasy line, basically, she's just a what's the words? Druidy flower woman. I really like that. That's sort of really stunning. So that's the mistress, and then she'll have her little. There's a few different angles there, but yeah, the sickle needs finishing. It's not going to be that jaunty. I love it. So that's the mistress, and that's the apprentice with my giant hands. So they'll be at some point. I leave those sort of ones when we've got a bit of a blank spot. I go, let's release these. So I'm really, I think they're going to paint up so nice with all the flowers. So they are awesome. Tick those off, flower ladies. What are we on? But yeah, half an hour. That was cool stuff. What are we on? Remember, squash. It is squash. It's just so hot. Hey, evil gingers, come along. Hello. So what was I reading in the lovely tranquility of my hammock yesterday? Oh, it's raining at least. It was really nice. Look, I'm an academic. I put thingies in them. It's so I love these little thingies. I just put them on bits that are interesting, rather than annotate. It's just like go there. So I was reading this book because France, World War II is what we're doing next. So far, we've nailed that we're definitely doing resistance fighters, index markers. That's the way. Yeah, you can read through them, so that's a bonus. So I've got millions of them. I love them. The bookmark. The bookmark that I've got is from Forgotten Imp that I got at Expo. I love this bookmark. A little jackalope. Look how cute. It's in a little jackalope loaf. Jackalope. Got that. So I'm learning. So at first, this book probably won't give me any use for designing the figures, but I like to know when I do stuff like this. I like to just know the whole story. So just before, sometimes it takes me longer because I could just go to Osprey book and go sculpt that, but I like to know the setting and what's going on around it. And I've learned so much about Britain and Russia so far with World War II. And I'm really intrigued by France because I thought I don't know much about women's roles, and I was struggling to find stuff that wasn't just about SOE and French resistance, because I've got a load of books on them and I will be learning about it, but I wanted to know what else was happening with women in France, because I've started a whole bunch of research on women in Germany in World War II, and that's really interesting as well. Just how all the countries have their own discussion of like, shall we get women involved? And then they have to have all these meetings about it. And it's like, there's a world war. Why are you even just do it? So France so far has been interesting. How far did I get? I've still got a lot to get through. So I'll just give you my skim summary of it so far. Andy gets me mentioning it to him because it's that thing where you read it, but then if you say it out loud, it stays in your brain. So what I've got so far is obviously a huge amount of the men are either in prisoner of war camps or they are working in Germany because obviously they're under German occupation. So they've gone, we need you to do the stuff. So there's a lot of lone women in France. But the new, what's the word? administration, there is very much the whole pushing that similar. Oh, putting my foot on the similar 40s Germany thing. You know, women very much in the kitchen, raising children, all this, and there was a lot of pushing against women having any sort of jobs. But obviously, their breadwinners are out doing various stuff, and there were various schemes where you could get like some of the money, some of your husband's money sent back. And I think if you were high up in the army, you could just get it automatically paid to you. So you'd say, "I'll pay me half of the wage, pay my wife the other half." But it was things like that had to be sorted before they went away. So if you didn't, or you didn't know about it, which I imagine a lot of people didn't, you were kind of screwed. So all these women are left with their children, maybe with not much work experience. At the time, they've been in very traditional roles. So they've mostly been doing the family house side of thing. And it was like, crap, we we need a job. So they needed jobs. So they did get some benefit. There were some benefits introduced to try and stop women getting jobs. They're like, stop getting jobs. Like, but we need the money to feed our children, so we have to get jobs. They're like, we don't like you in jobs. So they did give them some benefits, but the benefits generally didn't seem enough. Or they were aimed at, it was something, I can't remember what the loophole was. There was something where so many people just didn't get them. And I hadn't considered before things like farms. So you'd have a farm where obviously the woman's doing the cooking, the child raising, and the husband's off doing all the physical, actual farming stuff. Husband suddenly disappeared. And now this woman who has not done that before, maybe not as physically strong because that's not what she's been doing, suddenly has to take care of a whole farm, the administration of a farm, whilst also raising the children. A lot of cases, they then have the older generation living with them. So their parents that might be elderly and require extra care. So all of that. And it was just too much. So they were really struggling. And a lot of farms, I think it was got abandoned, either abandoned or given away because they're like, we cannot run this farm. It's just too much. And obviously everything's rotting. This is rubbish. And it's just wild that like throughout history basically, and basing of my company and passion, it's just all this stuff that causes so many issues is so easily remedied, but they're not, because it's like, well, why would we get women to do things? So then obviously as the war goes on, so this just again from what I've read so far, as the war goes on, then they're like, we have a lot of positions that we need people to work in, obviously, as you do get everywhere. So they did then go, I guess some of the women can work, but only in, desk jobs or whatever. So they all were like, yes, please hire me, I need a job. And then after a while they go, there's too many women in these jobs. So then they got rid of all the women. So that's pretty much where I've got to. That it's just been a really bad situation if you're a woman stuck in France. Just again, it's because they're in different bits, different sections. So, well, what's the one I've got through? It's financial and employment. So that's the only bit I've got through to comment on. But yeah, generally it kind of sucked, and it was the same as pretty much everywhere in the Allies, where women got to go and do the jobs eventually, and then the war finished, and they were like, not now. So overall had an effect, but so back immediately. It was like, yeah, we're done now, and then obviously that started a lot of the fights. But so far it's been really interesting, and this won't make any effects on the minis, but it means, I guess it does deep down, because it means I've just got more knowledge to go into building it. So it's not saying all the minis will physically show it, but I like to have that understanding of what's going on and the bigger picture around them, rather than just going, resistance fighters, cool. It's like, how can you be a resistance fighter? What's the route to joining that, basically? In the same way I was interested in the SOE, how do you become an SOE instead of a land girl or something like that? What's the route to that? Where do you come from, sort of thing? So I've been really interested, and reading that out on the hammock, surrounded by my beautiful garden. It's part of the trick. I'm trying to trick myself to read a lot more, because I've got this beautiful garden and a hammock now, and I can just sit out. Hammock's so comfy for reading, because you can just sit literally like that. There's no having to turn or anything. You just never get uncomfortable. I am definitely a shill for big hammock, but it is the best thing I've bought. The hammock, so good. It's got a hammock stand, so you don't need to find somewhere. If I put it on the fences would just collapse inwards. So yeah, really enjoying reading about this. Plants. Had some good chats with Josie. She gave me some good. I need to find where I've saved them into my phone. Various other resistance parts that seemed really interesting that I want to look up a bit more as well. Because after French resistance, we're doing German resistance, all the resistance, and then in between all that, we've got Audrey Hepburn assisting the Dutch resistance. Resistance. Which can then move naturally onto community minis. So, I've kind of not neglected, just been doing in chunks. So again, it was like Expo, now it's back to Kickstarter. But now that that's doing its thing, I'll be back to community miniatures. So I've got the casts. So they are approved and production casting the first, I think it was the first 5. Andrew Taylor has got one of them. He's got Black Egg. Oh, so warm. I've been doing these little founding fathers ponytails because my hair's nearly long enough now. Those little low ones, founding fathers. What was it? Brain. Founding fathers, community minis. So we've got Black Agnes, who has been painted. I think she should be on her way to actually been painted by Andrew Taylor. Again, because I can't remember if he is Scottish, but he's been in Scotland a very long time. If he isn't, so he's allowed that one. John Morris has the rest, which is Julie Daubigny, Eleanor of Aquitaine, Ching Shi, the Pirate Queen, and Harriet Tubman. Yes, I'm sure there were 6. Julie Daubigny. Who did I forget? No, maybe it was 5. Or was it 6? I don't know. It's so warm. But those, all I've got to do with them, so they're being cast, but I've got really good photos of all the greens, basically. So I can put them on the website and put them as pre-order. And what I might do, not to be cheeky, just to see if I can wing it, because I need to figure out how to work out sorting people's Ko-fi things and how to get them their cash, and then not have it awkward. Because I think I was looking at before how to do the gift cards where you get change, so I don't have to manually do it, just to keep the admin down. So what I might do, that if you're someone, you don't have to, but if you're someone that definitely knows you're going to like them all, I think I'm going to put the next, or is it Audrey Hepburn, Stagecoach Mary, Joan of Arc. Was it those 3? Or was it someone else? Was it 3? It wasn't 4, was it? Stagecoach Mary, Joan of Arc, Audrey Hepburn. I feel there was another one. Because I haven't started to research, that's why it's not in my head. Was it 3 or was it 4? But however many it is, I'm going to put those. Yes. I'm going to put those as available pre-orders. So if you definitely want all of them because you're like, I'm going to love them anyway, or you've put the money in for them, then you can do that as one big pre-order, which will ship obviously when those ones are ready. But if you want to get the ones earlier, you can do that. But yeah, if someone wants to just go whenever, I don't care, but I want to sort of cash in my thing. I'm rambling, but you might get what I mean. So put it up a bit like a pledge manager, basically, where it's like these ones are ready, these aren't yet. So like pre-orders. So they'll be up soonish. Again, I have no idea when soonish is, but good. I've put whelm but good. I am I am a woman on the edge. I'm okay. No, I'm okay. I'm very, I think I said, I'm very knackered after UK Games Expo. And I know I have to be very careful, especially in the heat. Also, there's a thing, if you're on certain SSRI medication, it causes you to dehydrate faster, which I am on a significant amount of. So I need to remember that as well. So I've just been on the constant hydrate. And yeah, the heat can affect your mental health, I think, as well. I've been putting it down, saying, oh, I'm just grumpy, but I felt on the edge of more than a grump. So that's why I'm trying to both take it easy, but also like get into when I'm in a full mission mode. Like up to 2 nights where I was there pretty late because I was just like Kickstarter pack, and that's good. But to also balance it out. So don't want to make too many commitments or anything because I'm being very careful. I had an interview that I postponed this week, and I'm glad I did, but I felt a bit bad. But I'm going to do it next week. Because I wanted to make more notes, but it was an interview. I'm hoping that I'm not just for May and June now. I was asked to be interviewed for Pride Month, basically, which is absolutely fine. But my cynicism of that anything but the minis, where I just really want to talk about minis, but people want to ask about me personally. I don't really like talking about that. So I'm going to try and change the interview as it goes along, which is also why I'm glad I didn't do it on Thursday when I was just really tired and like. So it's obviously got the LGBT angle because it's June. But I want to talk instead of about me and the old being gay and hobby, which I don't really want to, get into too much detail about because nobody is owed that sort of thing. I want to talk about this is me saying it now, so when you hear the interview, you can say, "Did she do it? Did she do it?" I want to talk about representation in the hobby, how representation is important for all different things. Talk about my gay vignettes. And I want to talk more of the history, because this is what I thought when I was thinking, what don't people ask me in interviews? They don't ask me much about the history of some of the miniatures or why I made the miniatures. So I'm at the point now where I orchestrate my interviews. So I'm like, right, this is what I'm going to talk about. And then I get really interested, which is again why that Peachy one was really good, because I've kind of had a list of like, these are the things I'm going to cover. And I didn't even get through them all, but it was really good. It wasn't just the same questions. So my goal is I want to refresh my brain on some of the LGBT characters that we've got, so I can talk about that. And those, like even Marilyn Monroe was, you'll never know, but rumoured to be a lesbian, which is interesting. And I get to get some of those little tidbits about some of the characters from history, which I've got, and maybe some of them on the upcoming. Like obviously Julie Daubigny is on the upcoming miniature. And she's bisexual, so I can talk about that and the representation in the miniatures. And I think that would make a really good interview, rather than me just being like, I'm a gay woman in the hobby. So after me moaning for ages, like, oh, I only get asked about being a woman. That's like, oh, no, I'm just going to ask about being gay. But if I can put that onto the minis and talk about the minis, I think that would actually be a really good angle. So I don't know if the guy watches this, but it saves me an email if he does. But that's basically what I'm going to email over tomorrow, just saying like, this is my plan and these are the things I want to talk about. I'm sure he's going to be cool about it. So I wanted a bit more time to plan that, so I'd give a better interview basically. Although hopefully not melting, but I'm so melting. I can hear Andy moving around. I don't know if he's changing floors. He is. Where is he going? Lurking back. He's lurked away now. The man that's nearly too cool to get into air hockey place. Are you smart casual today?
Yeah.
Would you like to?
I'll show them.
Yeah. It's very smart casual. Look at the hair though. Look at that mane. Look at that mane. How come yours looks nice? I'm all frazzled and you've got like a gorgeous bouffant.
The Lord's blessings have been bestowed upon me.
It is. Greg says, good Lord, I wasn't prepared. I know, it's a lot. So I'm coming to the end anyway, but I've got one more thing. Whilst I was packing these Kickstarters, Daniel says hello.
Hello.
While I was packing these Kickstarters, I was thinking, I bloody love Ghouls. I sure do love Ghouls. Which I didn't tell it. I always tell people I'm into Ghouls is my thing. It's even outside of work or anything. I am well into Ghouls. That's my little thing inside the hobby. I collect Ghouls, have all the Ghouls. And I have some Paul Muller Ghouls, my favourite Ghouls. Also Joe's Ghouls. Joe's here. I love Joe's Ghouls also. But Paul's does a lot of the classic ghouls, so I know he's got a big fan base, particularly of his ghouls. Um, so I've actually been secretly getting ghouls from from Paul. Ghoul, more like cool. So I've kind of just been buying them, and we keep going. That'll be it for now. No more ghouls. And then he's like, "But I could do this ghoul." You don't turn down ghouls from Paul Muller, basically. So I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And now we have so many ghouls. I was like, again, my thoughts on flat releasing things that they can sometimes sink. And because Paul in particular has that fan base, it's the name of Paul's Ghouls. I might even put it into the Kickstarter and do a very short 5-day Kickstarter because it's not tons of ghouls. But as such a pro, you can imagine Paul is quite expensive. So as long as it can cover it, it'll probably be about 10 ghouls. Just a little Kickstarter, nothing else, just ghouls. Nothing too complicated. So I think all I want to get sculpted now is like a ghoul matron, like the ghoul matriarch or something. That's a large ghoul because she's eaten all of the. She's like gets the cream of the crop basically, and maybe some sort of handmaidens, and then it'll all be female ghouls but with 2 token man ghouls. For nefarious purposes for their ghoul recreation. I like that. I like that idea. And while Paul Muller ghouls do pop up here and there, that many Paul girl ghouls I think would be ace. And then I've got Joe's ghouls, although they've just come out. Whack them back in the Kickstarter. Whack stuff back in the Kickstarter in the add-on. So I've got the existing Paul ones. I've got the ones from the last Kickstarter, and then I've got more that he's been doing. So I can have a bundle of like everything, and then the newer stuff, and then also in the add-ons have Joe's Swamp Ghouls and the Andrew May Ghoul Queen that's doing that. And I was partly tempted to get Alan to do me a ghoul, so I've got kind of like, so although it is focused on Paul Muller because that's the lure for them all, I kind of want like all my sculptors to do a ghoul now, so all like the ghoul gang. That could be cool. Alan is currently sculpting Princess Anne. She's nearly done, but he struggled a bit. I'm sure if Joe's still in the heat in the chat, he will confirm that it is hard to work in this heat with things like putties when they can all just sort of dry out and crack. And I said to Alan, sounds like a good excuse to have some days off, really. Oh no, I can't sculpt. He's really big into unicycling, so like just go unicycle somewhere. Princess Anne can wait. So Princess Anne on horseback and foot as a random pack, just because I really wanted to make it because I thought she looked really cool at the coronation, just like a bit of a Darth Vader. And she is a woman from history, or a current woman, but you know what I mean. She will eventually be a woman from history, and she is the first. She's the first woman to do a lot of things in the royal family because she's almost like had that man's role the whole time. Princess Anne on unicycle. Oh, that'd be good. So ghouls will be next, but it'll be very quick. Very quick. I was like, do the ghouls while I'm looking up more about France. There are going to be more Kickstarters because it just works. Originally, when I was like, I'm never going to do a Kickstarter, it's like, oh well, if you can't beat them, join. I'm so shiny. I'm just looking at all this shine. Like, oh no. Welcome to my shine hour. So that's a lot. I have pretty much talked at speed, which is quite impressive because I've been talking all weekend, especially today with my 2 friends. Get me. And with Andy, who is also my friend. So that's 3 friends. And a 4th friend tomorrow. Got all these friends. And I won't see anyone for a month. That's enough. Love you all, but that's enough now. I am generally very hermity, so seeing all these people is a rareness, but a good thing. Look at that, like what happened to that? It's just all frazzled. And then there's Andy there with his bouffant. So next week, what will I be doing? I will be finishing my mega stock check. So my stock levels are accurate. We have live stock. But because of Salute and then Expo, where you absolutely ravaged my stock, which was ace. I would never complain about such a ravaging. It's meant that some of them on the website are a bit inaccurate, so I've been going around to do a manual stock check of everything, because that'll be it now till next Salute. I've got a VAT attack, but it won't annihilate my stock like Salute and Expo do. And so I've been doing a mega stock check. I almost was mega late on Friday because I was deciding to do all of it, and then I was very sensible because I realised that I was trying to figure out how to print something off. And I'm like, I don't know how I print this because I need to. And then look, I was like, oh, I've already done it and I've printed it and it's here. Oh, I need to go. I was like, that's enough. That is enough for today. So yeah, I got back Friday, so I'm going to finish that off. Then I have to order more in the circle of life. So then I need to decide what I order, which is getting more and more difficult as the range is so big now. And you have a minimum that you have to order, but something if it's not been selling much is like, that's the whole thing of stock control, and to keep the whole range in stock is a lot of money. It's just sat there, so you have to be quite choosy sometimes and a bit risky. So I'm like, shall I let that one go out of stock for a little while? So that sort of thing. We have 3 Potato Pete's and Dr. Carrot left, and they're going to be out of stock for a while because they're not a priority resin. Oh, I have to do a big resin order, and oh, that's nasty. Those prices are nasty, and because they take longer, I've usually forgot by then, and then I'll get a bill a bit later and go, oh no. So I do need to do a big resin order as well. So mega stock check and then mega stock replenish, because it's not just me, it's my shops as well. So all the people who sell the goods, I get embarrassed if they ever order something and I haven't got it. I go, oh, I haven't, because that's a bit of a bummer if they really need it. So I've got to check through all of that. Although I was very good and did a stock check and wobbling this. A stock check and buy eye not long ago. So that arrived in a week. So loads of things are back in stock. Yes. Whew. And packaging for new things. If I get bored, I'm going to start getting the packaging made for the My Last Sunrise things. So once that is out, they can go to shops. I need to go through them all because I want to. Now I have the price, so I have to kind of guess the price for the Kickstarter, and I can vaguely guess it by similar sized items what it will be. But then it's after, as soon as they're molded, is then when I get the actual price. And some of them have gone. So some will be going up, which is why I never put an RRP in the Kickstarter, because I'm never quite sure, and I don't want to lie. So say something's £7, and I'm like, it'll probably be 9 RRP. But then I get the costing back, and I think 8 would be fine. I feel like I've lied by changing what the perceived RRP would have been. And I don't like doing that, so which is why you never get a this would be this at RRP, because I don't really know. So I'll make a guess and then lower it a little bit because of the Kickstarter. So I need to go through all those sums. The price of metal is so that is so that's grim. So I need to double check the prices. I need to double check the names, because the names were fine for the Kickstarter, but to go in the range. So, for example, there's The Bride, but we already have The Brides, so she can't be called that. So she might be called something like Undead Bride or something like that. So the names change. So sometimes there might be something where you're like, I'm sure she had that. I've just changed the name of it. Because once the packaging's made, that's kind of like their name for life, because it's going to be on there. So there are a few like that. Community minis shuffled. And then I can start doing my research for those as well. So I think the order I'll do it, I think I need to get some briefs for the French, although we never got the Ghouls. The Ghouls should hopefully be a quick turnover. It's basically like a more than ever, that sort of glorified pre-order system, because I want them to share, because they'll share around those old Hammer groups if it's Paul Miller Ghouls, like with those Ian Miller dragon. Oh, that dragon is so nice, the Ian Miller dragon by John Robertson. I've got the chariot, and the chariot is so nice. Now he's done that dragon. I'm like, oh, and then I saw he was flirting with doing it in Seocast, and I posted, "Don't ruin it! Don't ruin it!" So hopefully he won't. I'd love to see them in resin. It was a shame that the chariot they did before was metal and resin, because I wanted to resin it all. Lil's here, but I am heading off. Though I may require your labour in the week, Lil. We'll see how it goes. Got some stuff coming. I did pack about 120 Kickstarters by myself because you were on holiday, so that's you told. That's you told. Yeah, Kickstarter spoiler, everything will look amazing. So yeah, I don't want to get my brain crossed with all these different researchers, so I don't know whether to finish France and get those briefed and get Alan sculpting them, and then he can be sculpting the French while I am researching the next bunch. So yeah, because I've got to get all that research, Audrey Hepburn and co together, and that takes a while. And I'm kind of hoping if the weather's nice and there's no other pressing office tasks that I can do that in the week. That would be nice. Because I do call it my weekend job doing the community minis. But if the weather's nice and I can be outside, then I don't see why I can't do it in the week, because it is work. Whew, so that was a massive one. Covered. Oh yeah. on an end point. Oh, I'm so creaky. I feel like a real influencer now. I got given this. I wasn't sure what the etiquette is because I'm not an influencer really. I got given this at Expo, and then I thought, how do I do it in a video? Because I know if you're the content creator type, you have to put like paid partnership or stuff like this. Or ad or something like that, and it's not, because it's not an advert. It is just me having a thing. I guess it's an ad, although an unintentional ad, I guess. But I don't want to put ad tags on it because it's not. But I'll figure it out when I do a video. So I was talking to a chap from the Transatlantis Games, who make the Duncan Rhodes paints, and I had a big chat with him. And then he came back. No, the reason I posted because I saw some of the YouTubers had got them, so I felt a bit less special, but still very special. But I got gifted this at Expo. Look at this. Look at that. So it's the complete set of Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy thingies. And yeah, it was free and given to me, and he did say there is absolutely no obligation to do anything. But he said if you do, they'll put, as long as I'm not painting penises with it or something, then they'll share it and all that. And I actually do have a terrible collection of paints. So I don't know if Amy might still be here. I'll know. I did temporarily think I should probably give it to one of my painters, and then I went, actually no, they're not allowed. I want to have a go. So I genuinely want to have a go because I'm intrigued as to if they're any good. They've got some wicked colours, but yeah, I've no idea outside that. But my painting collection, as I've said many times, has lots of holes in it. It was only recently I finally got red. So I thought I'll give them a go. And the obvious thing to do with them is to I wanted to do some little painty videos anyway, just showing off little ideas, simple painting some of my bits. So it's more of a cross promo than an ad, basically. Because if I paint some of my stuff up with their paints, and if I like them, not like my terrible when contrasts came out, and I was like, oh, this is a good idea. I can get some, because everyone's talking about contrasts. And then I tried them on some of my Shield Maidens, and it's just me. And I really wanted to like them. And I was going, I'm not really a fan. It's all a bit brown. I like them now, but I was trying them, they said you can just paint them with contrast. And I found on metal that because the surface wasn't as smooth as like plastic, they're a bit underwhelming. So you can definitely tell that wasn't a paid promo, because I was going, actually, nah. Because I wanted it to work. So I could say, you get Shield Maiden, dunk it with these paints done. So if I don't like them, I'm jinxed now. If I don't like them, you won't hear anything about them ever again. But if I do, it's the whole genuine. But then every influencer says that, so it's really cliched now. Like, I only review the things I like. I'm like, do you though? I've got on my queue up is a an expose on HelloFresh, which I'll be watching after this whilst playing The Witcher. But yeah, paid promo, these sure are paints. So yeah, I want to try them out because I'm intrigued. I want free paints, but I've got nothing to gain from saying they're bad or terrible. I just, apart from Zero Cast, I don't like putting anyone down. So if I do think they're terrible, I won't mention it. But it'd be interesting to use. And I thought if I use these, paint some of my stuff with them, make a little video, then they'll share it, and then it will be that little cross promo thing. And I do want people to see the things. It's that peachy thing was a really big. Even just hanging out with Louise Sugden because you posted a couple of bits, and then I got a load of followers. So just trying to do as much hammering at all this as possible. So getting on the old Duncan Rhodes fans to be like, whoa. So yeah, so I'm trying not to burn out, but you're just trying to get my face everywhere. Not my face, but my face and then lots of little 28mm faces to get it all out there. Right, I am dead. I am absolutely dead. No, I won't have tomorrow off. No, Annie, no days off. It's just so hot. You shouldn't have to work when it's this hot. Right, that's all. So I'm really glad loads of you came along, especially because it was only fairly late that I mentioned that it was going to be an evening one. So thanks for that, and apologies. I have no idea what's happening. I need to actually look at my calendar because I know I've got loads of things coming up, like old weddings. Everyone's getting married, and I know they're all coming up soon. So there will be some weekends that I might not be able to. Right, so bloody hell, it's 9:10. No. So time to watch the expose on HelloFresh, and get Geralt of Riviera killed. Oh yeah, before I go, yes, drink more fluids. Yeah, in the week, very quickly, I got a restock posting from for friend Nanny. I think, yay! I like to get more people in the, but I do like the morning ones, so I don't know. And it's not the dread of doing it, but if something's planned for the evening, then you keep being aware of it. So if I moved it, I think that'd bother my Sundays, whereas when it's at the start, it's like done out of the way. Yeah, in the week, so I got my restock of spears, and I did just a stupid little how many spears are in this tub? Closest one to the closest guest wins nothing. Because it's weird. So the actual answer was 2,000. Imagine 2,000 spears costs quite a lot, and it's weird how you're like, oh, that's it. It's just that many. So it was just a bit of a laugh and cynical attempt at engagement because obviously everyone types the guess, the algorithm. Woo! Telling you the inner secrets. But then because on Facebook they obviously have bots for everything. So it's skimming posts and stuff. So something had obviously picked up the word win. I don't think there was a conscious person doing it. I think it's a bot. I clicked win, and then cloned my account. So cloned the Bad Squiddo account, and then replied to all the comments on there. So at a glance, and if you're sleepy, not paying much attention, it looked like Bad Squiddo had replied. So all the silly guesses all had, "You are correct. Click here now and you've won a prize." And I didn't notice for a while, and I saw loads of them. I was like, "Oh crap!" And then I was trying to delete, and in the end, that's when I'm going to delete the whole post. And I haven't checked today if it's still there, but I think it's still there. So by itself, I think it's not going to do anything because it's just there as a dead page. So it's got 0 followers. But it says Bad Squiddo Games. It's got my freshened Squiddo at the top. I don't like it. I do not like that it exists. And with all those reports we've done on it, Facebook's still like that's the thing a bot could easily go, yep, that's an issue, delete that one. Whereas all of us that get all our random bans for absolutely nothing. When I went to the help centre, it was showed all these extra strikes that I'd had where it'd given me strikes and then it'd gone, actually, we were wrong, sorry. And I'm like, just delete this obvious clone account. But I wanted to make sure, and then I panicked afterwards that people would think that their data was unsafe or something. So it's nothing to do with me. Nothing's been hacked or anything like that. That is all fine. It's just someone literally made another page that looked like Bad Squiddo. So if you'd clicked that link, if you did click any of them, which hopefully nobody did, it'll obviously run the antivirus or whatever, because it's not going to be a good link. Andy said, I think it was Andy. He said, or Ian, it might have been Ian, said, where did the link go to? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't click it. Why did I click it? But yeah, at a glance, you'd easily click one of those and be like, oh, wow. Hopefully people was like, that's not the sort of thing Annie would say. Congratulations, you have won. So yeah, that's a bit weird. So just keep an eye. You can tell because if you hover it, it will say it's got like 9,000 followers. So you know it's me, and you scroll down, you can see all my posts. Whereas that's just got one post on it or something. A few of you have reviewed it as like scam. This is funny. So thank you. I also am going to have one of those shower things because I'm a weird warm sweat ball. So I'm going to do that and go to bed and play Witcher. Play it on the Switch, so I play it in bed. But I like take the little handle bits off. And then I'm telling you all my secrets now. So take all the handles off, and then I'll prop it up in bed like that. So, so it's at normal because I'm at the side. So I've got it there, and then I'll just sit comfy because you've got the separate handle bits. So I'll kind of just get all comfy in bed, which does lead to me falling asleep playing games, and I have to fish the controllers on the bedroom when I wake up and go, "Wow, what year is it?" It's very relaxing way of playing games. Just like this, the little handle bits going, fight them, fight them, kill them. So yeah, that's what I will be doing. So good night. Thank you. It's been nice. What do you mean we're socialising with my friends? Right. See you soon. This has been Ace. Thanks for coming along. Bye.